This is ABC 7 News at 6.
An HIV outbreak in Penobscot County continues to grow. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Beth Jones. A new case of HIV has been identified in Penobscot County, bringing the total number of confirmed cases to 45. The Maine CDC says 91% of those diagnosed since 2023 have used injectable drugs, and 91% are also facing homelessness. The majority of those in Penobscot County living with HIV also have hepatitis C. 82% have been able to receive care. More information is available on the Maine CDC's website, including resources for testing and care, as well as safety tips and how to know if you're at risk for HIV infection. A teen charged with 2 murders in Chelsea in 2025 will be tried as an adult, despite being 16 years old when the alleged crimes occurred. According to state police, 43-year-old Christopher Hunnewell and his adopted son, 22-year-old Ty Carter, were found by state troopers dead inside 616 Windsor Road in Chelsea at around 8:37 p.m. on Wednesday, June 11th. The teen accused of killing them is 17-year-old Jason Hunnewell. He was a cousin to one of the victims who had taken him in. According to court paperwork, multiple factors were considered in the ruling to try him as an adult, including potential threats to public safety. Now, there's no set timetable right now for when a trial might proceed. A head-on crash in Randolph has left 1 person dead. Kennebec County Sheriff Chief Deputy Chris Reed says deputies responded to 76 Water Street in Randolph Thursday, a little after 2 p.m. According to the report, all of the people were still trapped in both vehicles. Reed says 62-year-old Deborah Alexander of Gardner was driving one of the vehicles, and despite life-saving efforts, she died at the scene. Her passenger, 18-year-old Troy Simmons of Gardner, was transported to Maine Medical Center with severe injuries. Reed says 51-year-old Marion Porter of China, who was driving the other vehicle, was taken to Central Maine Medical Center with severe injuries. Reed says the preliminary investigation shows Alexander's vehicle drifted into the oncoming lane and struck the other vehicle head-on. The crash remains under investigation, and anyone with information is asked to call 623-3614. Well, $30 million is on its way to 11 rural hospitals in Maine. The money from the Department of Health and Human Services is intended to help strengthen the long-term financial health and sustainability of rural hospitals across our state. A statement from DHHS says the hospitals were invited to participate after an analysis of key financial factors to identify hospitals that could benefit the most from this one-time investment. Millinocket Regional Hospital, Mount Desert Island Hospital, Northern Light A.R. Gould Hospital, and Maine Health Penn Bay Hospital are among the recipients. Well, after 45 years of serving some of Bangor's most vulnerable populations, the Together Place has been forced to temporarily close their doors. Our Callie Warren is there live right now with the details on this decision and what leaders are saying their next chapter will look like. Callie.
Beth, it's certainly a bittersweet moment for everyone at the Together Place. This afternoon, they announced that they fell short of their funding goal by around $75,000. And that means that a lot of the services that they provide that so many people rely on, that includes providing folks with meals, housing connections, care related to substance use disorder, recovery, and warming and cooling shelters will be ending for the time being. There was barely a dry eye in the room earlier this afternoon when they were announcing this temporary closure. I spoke with the organizers of the Together Place that are saying they're not giving up hope on their organization or their community.
We love Bangor. I love Bangor. This has become my home, and I am honored to give back. This is the place where I got sober. This is the place where my life changed, and I just want to give that back to everybody else here. We all go through together.
According to Mullaney, the
Together Place does plan to reopen when it's possible. So sorry to cut you off there, Beth. I just wanted to let you know that they're still accepting donations, and they're also saying that every little bit helps in getting them further to that goal. So I'll hand it over back to you in studio.
My bad, Callie, and thank you so much for that update. We're hoping that they continue to receive those donations and eventually can start offering those crucial services once again. Well, Maine's Secretary of State is responding to questions that have been raised about Troy Jackson being legally eligible to run as the Democratic candidate against Susan Collins. House Minority Leader James White, who represents portions of Piscataquis and Somerset counties, sent a letter to Shenna Bellows challenging Jackson's eligibility and calling for an immediate investigation. He said it was not lawful to run for two offices in an election cycle. Jackson's bid for governor fell short. In her letter to White, Bellows said, quote, "While Maine law does prohibit candidates running for multiple offices in certain circumstances, the selection of Troy Jackson by the Democratic Party to fill the vacancy left by the party's candidate withdrawing in the U.S. Senate race is not one of them," end quote. Well, folks in Central Maine will be coming together tomorrow for the third annual memorial ride in honor of the late Corporal Andrew Hutchins. The ride is organized by the Hutchins family. Andrew was killed in action in 2010 while serving in Afghanistan. Hutchins was a military policeman serving with the 101st Airborne Division out of Fort Campbell, Kentucky. He was just 20 years old when he was killed. He was a native Mainer. His family says the memorial ride is their way of honoring his life and service to our country. It's also a way to continue his legacy by giving back to his community.
Honor his family, his daughter, Alyssa, who's here with us tonight. Sometimes I'm at a loss for words. Why would they do that for our family? But it's bringing an awareness for all of the communities that you might have Gold Star families right next door to you. Their heroes should not be forgotten.
Route 202 Pizza and Grill in North Monmouth will be open for breakfast with a special event menu in honor of the ride. They're hosting the event. Registration opens at 8 a.m. If you haven't registered yet, you can still do so when you arrive. Motorcycles, cars, trucks, and more are invited to join in. We'll have a link on our website, foxbangor.com. In other news tonight, a close call at the Blue Hill Fairgrounds this morning. Officials with the fair say just before 8 a.m., a grass fire started and spread a short distance to their polling building, which also houses their Charlotte's Web exhibit. They credit the quick action of the Blue Hill Fire Department with the fact that there was only minimal damage. Fair officials said, quote, "Without these dedicated folks who drop everything when their pagers go off, we would have lost a special building and exhibit." Thank you from the Blue Hill Fair and the thousands of fair patrons who will be able to enjoy their visit to us. Well, on a related note, the Bangor State Fair kicked off yesterday morning. And while rides like the Carnival and Ferris wheel bring excitement, of course, the agriculture section gives the public a look into an important Maine industry. Our Calvin White has more.
The Bangor State Fair sees thousands of visitors from across Maine every year who go on rides, eat carnival food, and listen to live music. But away from those festivities, inside the Cross Insurance Center is perhaps the fair's most important area, the agriculture section. According to the fair's livestock superintendent, Jesse Caron, the agriculture section is often busy, but this year there's an extra effort to expand its reach to younger people.
We're pushing hard. This fair especially, we push hard for educational. We have a facility that we can have classroom space, stuff like that. So we have different instructors coming in throughout the weekend for the youth and public if they want to come.
The education doesn't end in the classrooms though, as the farmers who show off their livestock at the fair are excited to answer questions someone may have as they walk by all of the calves.
I think there's a true disconnect between what the public knows about where their food comes from to what actually happens. So we're kind of here to fill in any gaps or questions that they have, and we're more than happy to answer questions that they have.
Friday, the agriculture section of the fair held a dairy and beef show, where farmers showcased their cows and were judged. The contestants walking the cows, and many of those taking care of the cows during downtime, were youth. Bagley says the youth turnout is promising for the future of agriculture in the state and country.
That's extremely important as well because we need farmers to feed America and to keep ag going.
The fair will continue till August the 8th. In Bangor, Calvin White, ABC 7, and Fox 22 News.
Let's hope Mother Nature cooperates with the fair. And on that note, let's get a first check of our forecast.
Thank you very much. Your first weather today is brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. Experience the quality automotive difference, the reliable service, and expert care that you can depend on. Call us to schedule your next appointment at 922-2043. All right, as we see out there for today, back in the low 80s here in Bangor. You can see that existing down to the southwestern portion of the state. 70s back up north as well after a bit of a cooler day yesterday. We're seeing low 70s in Presque Isle, mid 70s for Clayton Lake, and it's a nice warm day with plenty of us seeing sunshine out there. Now for tonight, maybe a sprinkle or two passing by, but otherwise partly cloudy skies. We'll have some areas of dense fog out there. Into tomorrow, there's going to be some clouds increasing throughout the day, but we will still see sunshine during those peak daytime hours, helping us warm up into those low to mid 80s to kick off your weekend. So for tonight, maybe a sprinkle or two, but otherwise many of us staying dry out there. Partly cloudy skies throughout the night, and yes, lows will still fall below 60 degrees. Many of us will be in the mid to upper 50s here in the Bangor area.
And we will be right back.
Disturbing news about threats of violence against women. Is it Graham Plattner again? No, it's Troy Jackson. When a female legislator disagreed with Jackson, he threw a water bottle at her in anger. The woman was deeply frightened. Jackson was known for bullying, and his screaming felt like intentional intimidation. His brash conduct with women raised alarm bells about his temperament. Troy Jackson, another phony we can't trust. Pine Tree Results PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Keep your boat safe, functional, and beautiful with a Shoremaster boat lift from Hammond Lumber Company. Your Hammond sales rep can help you choose the perfect lift for your boat. Shoremaster's exclusive Whisper winch offers the industry's smoothest and quietest operation. Add speed and convenience with a Shoremaster lift motor. And Shoremaster's modular Infinity design makes it easy to upgrade with accessories when you're ready. Take your boating experience to the next level with a Shoremaster boat lift from Hammond Lumber Company.
Your internet experience feels different, ultra reliable, lightning fast. With Fidium 100% fiber, everything you do online works exactly like it should.
Night, bud.
Zach, go to bed.
So is cable internet still slowing you down? Enough already. Fiber up to Fidium. Get a 2 gig plan for only $65 a month at fidiumfiber.com.
Roto-Rooter has served the greater Bangor area and beyond for 35 years, offering plumbing, hydrojetting, snaking, descaling, video inspection, and grease interceptor cleaning services. For all your residential and commercial clogs, call Roto-Rooter today, 990-1234.
And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
Live from the Maine Lobster Festival in Rockland, it's the Lobster Crate Races. Watch fearless racers dash across floating lobster crates. Will they make it or take a spectacular splash? Who will stay on their feet and who will take the plunge? Don't miss the Lobster Crate Races live from the Maine Lobster Festival, Sunday, August 2nd at 2 p.m. only on Fox 22.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back. Food insecurity is a growing problem here in Maine, and according to Feeding America, more than 200,000 Mainers didn't know where their next healthy meal would come from last year. Our Alex Schley has more on some recent findings and how local organizations are trying to keep up with that growing need.
Thursday, Feeding America released the findings of a study looking at growing food insecurity in Maine.
That's a change from about 190,000 people to 203,000 people, right? So about 13,000 people more who are not certain where their next meal is going to come from. We also see in that number 50,000 children.
McCarthy says the recent findings were based on numbers collected during 2024.
So what we know from firsthand experience here on the ground is that hunger is likely even higher than that in today's reality, because those numbers don't reflect federal changes to food programs that have gone into place in the last 18 months.
McCarthy says the study reveals that rural communities, specifically those in Washington County, were adversely affected by individuals facing food insecurity. Chris Street, the nutrition director for Eastern Area Agency on Aging, which provides Meals on Wheels for residents in Penobscot, Hancock, Piscataquis, and Washington counties, say they have seen this firsthand.
Especially for those on our Meals on Wheels program that are really in deep need of good nutrition, that the referrals that we've seen come in for that have increased by about 100% over the last 2 years. We used to average about 20, 25 referrals every single month, and we're starting to get into the 50 to 60 per month across our four counties.
Street says while the increased demand is putting increased stress on nonprofits, they are continuing to work every day to help Mainers in need.
To see people struggling to get the food that they need, and in seeing that not even just being food insecure is their only issue, but it's a root cause of many of the other problems, health concerns that they end up having.
Alex Live reporting for ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
Just ahead, folks, we have the latest in sports and your forecast. Don't go anywhere.
Mainers work hard. Our leaders should too. Like Senator Susan Collins, who just cast her 10,000th vote.
The first senator in U.S. history to reach that mark without ever missing a vote.
Collins worked with Democrats to keep the Gulf of Maine open for our fishermen, kept our shipbuilders on the job with new funding, and Collins expanded health care for rural Mainers. No drama, just hard work and results. Call. Ask Senator Collins to keep working hard for Mainers.
It's a big, big deal. Summer is a big deal at Toyota.
It's the final days of Toyota's Big Deal Summer Event, where you could get an affordable $315 a month lease on a ruggedly refined, fuel-sipping Tacoma SR5 with a $16,024 total contract cost. Summer's a big deal at Toyota, the longest-lasting brand with the best resale value. So see your New England Toyota dealer.
It's a big deal.
Toyota, let's go places.
Here at Twin City Tire and Service, you will be working with industry professionals. We have ASE certified master technicians and certified tire and lube technicians. If we need your vehicle for a duration of time, we offer a complimentary shuttle service and can even offer a loaner vehicle. Being a client at Twin City Tire and Service means that we will treat you right. This includes a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on mechanical repairs. We also provide you with 1 year of complimentary roadside assistance. Come see us today at Twin City Tire and Service in Brewer.
I never get the flu.
My kids don't need more shots.
I don't have time.
We're all healthy.
No matter how you build your excuses, the flu can blow your house down.
I can't believe I used up all my sick time.
I missed a week of school during finals.
Now my baby has it because of me.
The hospital?
Keep your foundation strong. Vaccinate.
Half-off deals are waiting for you at foxbangor.com. Click on half-off deals and see how much you can save only at foxbangor.com.
Welcome back in, folks. A former Foxcroft Academy and college football player is giving back to his community in the form of athletic training. Our Max Sturm has a story, and a great story at that.
Attaboy, good. Turn the body, good.
Meet Logan Martin.
If you can't get out of it in 3 steps, just pop the feet. Pop them.
The coach of Foxcroft Speed and Skill. This summer, Martin has taken on the role of training young athletes in the Dover-Foxcroft area.
If I have the opportunity to give back to the kids, so that's what I want to do.
Up to 5 days a week, Martin gathers with middle and high school athletes at the Jim Robinson Fieldhouse and works with them on improving their agility and quickness.
Drop the hips, same thing. Now it's right, left, right, pushing off.
His experience as a Division I football player at the University of Maine and later at Husson University helped to spark his passion for coaching.
Yeah, I think it all stems back to, my playing days. I've been at the top of the mountain, I've been at the bottom. So I've seen it all. I've been through a lot. I'm able to share my lessons and stories with the kids, be able to guide them and teach them a lot about the sport.
Martin has over 30 kids signed up for training sessions, each of whom he carefully examines to best mold a program for.
Everyone's at a different part of their athletic careers, so I try to get them in for that first session, analyze, see where they're at athletically, movement-wise, whether they're explosive, they're jumping good, running good, maybe need touch up on form, technique, workouts to build their confidence.
Confidence. While there are plenty of lessons to learn as it pertains to skill, Martin says the main goal of these sessions is to instill belief into the young athletes.
But I think the biggest thing this summer is just developing the confidence of these kids, because a lot of these workouts, my first year doing it, they haven't done a lot of these workouts. They're pretty advanced drills, but they're also meant to show that these kids are capable and put them in positions to build their confidence up and allow them to play more loose, which ultimately just slows the game down.
Take it from the kids themselves. That message has certainly come across well.
He teaches really well, and he pushes us to be like our best and strives us to be better.
To have someone that's going to do that for you is good, because you'll be ready for anything you want to do. If you stick with it, you will get better with them.
For the Foxcroft Academy alum, watching these kids prosper is what makes it all worth it.
I think it's important for people around in a small town to just swallow their pride and just root for the kids. I said that to a parent the other day. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm swallowing my pride and I'm rooting for every single kid that comes in here and wants to put in work. I want to see them all succeed.
In Dover, Foxcroft, Max Sturm, ABC 7 and Fox 22 Sports.
Thank you for that great story, Max. Love to see Logan Martin, his passion for the game, pairing with his passion for impacting the next generation. For now, that's all the time we have for sports. Here's your full 5-day forecast. Hopefully.
Thank you very much, and happy Friday to you all. It's a beautiful Friday out there for us today with warm summer-like temperatures once again. Low 80s here in Bangor for today. Same for Bar Harbor. Some mid to upper 70s in Rockland, but the rest of us in the low to mid 80s in the southwestern portion of the state. Some of those 70s still up north, but it's better than yesterday, right? Low 70s for Presque Isle and Holton, mid 70s for Millinocket into Clayton Lake out there this afternoon. For tonight, many of us will see mid to upper 50s here in the Bangor area. This model keeping us right around 60, but we'll have some pretty clear skies throughout the night. Some areas will get their fair share of cloud cover. That's going to be more off to the east, where you can see a little bit more of those warmer temperatures. More clear skies further north can put you in the mid 50s for tonight. But into tomorrow, many of us back in those low to mid 80s. I do expect us to jump near 84 here in Bangor for tomorrow, even though we will have clouds making their way in, and maybe a storm or two can be possible in the southwestern portion of the state for tomorrow. We'll get more to that in a bit, but here's a look at the temperature trend. Pretty warm temperatures, right, except for your Monday. That's when we're going to have a low pressure system sitting right on top of us, right over the state, so a lot of us will cool off then. We'll see some showers and thunderstorms, but other than that, a lot of our temperatures continue to stay warm above average. The average high 81. We're looking at mid to upper 80s for Tuesday into Wednesday, and those mid 80s continue throughout the week, Thursday into Friday. So a warm weekend ahead. Monday will be the cool one, where we'll get some showers and some good rainfall, of course, but then right after that we warm right back up. So winds out there throughout tonight, of course, pretty light and variable. As we go into tomorrow, we can see some stronger winds from the south ahead of our next system. Now, tomorrow, not too bad, maybe 10 to 20 miles per hour during those afternoon hours. We'll see those winds lighten up again throughout Sunday or Saturday night into your Sunday. Sunday afternoon is when those winds will pick up, gusting more close to 25 miles per hour, and we'll keep that going into your Monday once that low pressure is right on top of us. So as we go throughout tonight, maybe a sprinkle or two, but otherwise partly cloudy skies, and we'll have some areas of dense fog into the morning hours. Here we are for tomorrow. We'll get plenty of sunshine leading up into those peak daytime hours. There's 2 o'clock, still not much going on besides sunshine, right? We'll get the clouds working their way in throughout the evening. There can be a storm or two, and more so towards the southwestern portion of the state. Sunday is going to be the day where we get the system to get a little bit closer. Some storms can develop along the front, and we'll have better chances across north central Maine and off to the west once again where that front will be. So as that continues into Monday, we'll have much better chances across the state. We'll see showers and thunderstorms cooling us off. But for tonight, we're seeing lows in the mid to upper 50s, partly cloudy skies, some areas of dense fog. Not much going on for tonight. Into tomorrow, though, there can be a storm or two out there. Otherwise, many of us staying dry, partly cloudy skies, highs in the mid 80s with a breeze out there from the south during the afternoon. Taking a look at your extended forecast, we stay warm into your Sunday, low to mid 80s, but better chances for showers and thunderstorms. Monday's the day where we cool off with a lot of cloud cover and storms all across the states. We'll see mid 70s then, but right back into the mid to upper 80s Tuesday and the Wednesday with plenty of sunshine.
We will be right back after the break.
Troy Jackson bragged about being one of Graham Plattner's earliest supporters. When the news of Plattner's Nazi tattoo came out, Jackson stood with Plattner. When Plattner blamed women for getting raped because they get drunk, Jackson stood by Plattner. And when the media reported Plattner was violent toward women, Jackson stood again with Plattner.
I want to say thank you very much to Troy.
Don't be fooled by Troy Jackson. He's another phony we can't trust. Pine Tree Results PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Bob's Discount is about to go even further. The Massachusetts sales tax holiday is officially the weekend of August 8th and 9th, but you can pre-select right now at Bob's Discount Furniture.
Oh, my Bob!
Bob's Discount Furniture.
Whether you're hurt by a landscaping truck like this, a work van like this, or any commercial vehicle, we know how to get you the big money you may deserve.
Hurt by a commercial vehicle? Call the twos. We win for you.
ABC 7, Fox 22. The place we call home, telling main stories wherever you roam. From sunrise shores to forests of pine, hard work, strong hearts, values that shine. From old towns to harbors, back roads to ocean blue. Neighbors helping neighbors in all that we do. Through storms and clear skies, day after day, we're here with the stories that matter in Maine. From mountains to sea, standing strong and true. This is Maine, this is home on ABC 7, Fox 22.
Brewer Public Safety just wrapped up their 6th annual Public Safety Academy. The kids had the opportunity to learn about different aspects of EMS, fire, police, and dispatching.
We're connecting with the community, and it's all about relationships at the end of the day. And it widens people's knowledge about different jobs people do. And again, it's mostly about relationships.
Well, for many kids who went to the academy, they left feeling inspired.
Either a police officer or being a part of the dispatch, the 911 dispatchers.
Okay, what about you, bud?
I would probably start with like the firefighting, and then I might move on to like police and stuff.
Finally tonight, a rare opportunity for those on board and on land as a famous schooner docked in Bangor this morning. Our Doug Banks reports.
Something different to see her on the waterfront here on a Friday afternoon.
It was a spectacle for spectators as they watched the gaff schooner Harvey Gamage dock at the Bangor waterfront. She began her trip Friday morning in Bucksport. Her waterfront arrival is part of the 4-port loop put on by the Penobscot Maritime Heritage Association, which takes passengers on a voyage of the Penobscot River.
This was the interstate system years ago.
With stops in Bucksport, Searsport, Castine, Bangor, and Brewer. According to the association's president, ambitions to create the 4-port loop tour set sail 3 years ago when the Santa Maria traversed the Penobscot.
And it was so overwhelming in Bucksport you couldn't find a parking spot.
This year's immersive tour celebrates America's 250th anniversary, and he says plans are in place 3 years from now to honor the worst U.S. naval defeat prior to Pearl Harbor.
The Penobscot expedition.
Built in 1973 in South Bristol, Maine, the Harvey Gamage stands approximately 91 feet tall and 131 feet long, a representation of the state's wooden boat-building tradition, serving as an educational vessel for over 5 decades.
And they learn how to jib the sails and manage the ship, and by the time they're through in 1 week, they can do it themselves.
Various vessels dock here in Bangor, but because of the height of the Veterans Remembrance Bridge, it's a rare opportunity when a ship like the Harvey Gamage makes its way to the waterfront.
We don't see them very often this far upstream, so it's a unique opportunity for spectators here in the community and from around the region.
The vessel began its return voyage to Bucksport at 2 p.m. In Bangor, Doug Banks, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
A beautiful sight to see, that is for sure. Alrighty, folks, that is going to do it for us. From everyone here at ABC 7 News, take care and have a great rest of your night.
Program also require that you live near the day program when you got out of the residential program. It required you to live close to the treatment center.
Correct.
Right. Now, I knew I'd get there eventually. I knew I'd put all these pieces together. Your case is dismissed, Mr. Rivera. We're done. Thank you very much.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
My opinion's the only one that counts.
I think the judge made a fair and accurate summation of what's going on.
If he would have been a friend, he would have paid my money.
I fed this guy, I cut his kid's hair.
Friends paid friends, look out for friends.
I've done a lot of things for him.
He know what he did,
Just because I knew he was in a hard place in life.
And he know the job that I put in, so.
No good deed comes unpunished.
There is no friendship.
Yeah, I just hope he goes his way.
This is Fox 22 News Tonight.
An HIV outbreak in Penobscot County continues to grow. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Beth Jones. A new case of HIV has been identified in Penobscot County, bringing the total number of confirmed cases to 45. The Maine CDC says 91% of those diagnosed since 2023 have used injectable drugs, and 91% are also facing homelessness. The majority of those in Penobscot County living with HIV also live with hepatitis C. 82% have been able to receive medical care. For more information on the Maine CDC's website, including resources for testing and care, you can go to their website, as well as safety tips and how to know if you're at risk for HIV infection. Well, a teen charged with 2 murders in Chelsea in 2025 will be tried as an adult.